perhaps one of the coolest lines ever uttered in a movie was simply, "Paradise Road."
Paradise Road.
This is a 1955 Chevy, the same type of car that was driven by Harrison Ford in his first movie, American Graffiti, directed by George Lucas.
All right, got a 58 down here. I got them lined up by year.
Yeah, there's a very wicked 55 Chevy looking for you. Yeah,
58, 57, 57, and I think right about there is where the 55 is. Here she is. This is the only one they've got on the lot that I can find. An old 55 Chevy. Same car Harrison Ford drove in American Graffiti on this episode of Matt's Rad Show. Let's check this old girl out. Not a whole lot left on her, but enough for this episode anyway. This might be the one that old Harrison Ford's character wrecked.
The 1955 Chevrolet, better known as a 55 Chevy. This one here is not much to look at, but these cars would be an absolute game changer for the automobile industry. Before 1955, if you wanted this kind of style and performance, you had to pay a lot more for it. But the 55 Chevy brought it to the masses.
Hey, you know a guy around here with a piss yellow deuce coupe supposed to be hot stuff? What, you mean John Milner? Hey, nobody could beat him, man. He got the fastest. I ain't nobody, Gord, right?
This car is considered to be one of the most influential cars for its time.
Man, these were such cool cars. Just were some of the coolest they put on the road. The whole 50s Chevy series, 55 through 57, some of my favorites. Oh, let's take a look inside here. A lot of headroom in these vehicles too. Pretty cool. American Graffiti. It's just not much left. The engine's out there somewhere in the world. Nice to know. General Motors Corporation, style 55. Body, trim, paint. Body by Fisher.
They came with a 265 cubic inch overhead valve V8. They were smaller and they weighed a lot less than most V8s at the time, and it turned out to be one of the most powerful engines for its time too. This engine would simply come to be known by most as a Chevy small block. And Chevy still uses a generation of this engine design today.
There was a time when this car would have been pretty intimidating coming down the road.
Hey, man, I'm sorry if I scared you. You're gonna have to do one hell of a lot more damage to scare me.
Fastest car in town, some places. This is the car that would have beat Milner.
The body was a complete departure from the previous years too, and one of the first cars to sport the shoebox design, and people loved it. The car also offered a ton of options: air conditioning, power everything from windows to seats to brakes to steering. They even threw in light dimmers, bumper protectors, and Wonder Bar radios. For many, this was the first car in their price range that would offer so many options, power, and performance. You could get the Chevys in one solid color or 19 different two-tone options. Chevy really knocked it out of the park with this car.
Yeah, I found like the only piece of Chevy sign left on this thing, right there in the dashboard. You can tell that this is one of the more popular vehicles because almost everything in it has been stripped. Almost everything. So good to know a lot of this old girl's parts are out there on the road still. Not a whole lot left. This one here is also a 55, but it's so gutted. There's nothing even left of the front end of this one. Still pretty cool. What do you guys think? Did Harrison's Ford character have Milner? Was he beating him? Did he beat him at the end? Milner said he had him. He would have lost, but Toad convinced him otherwise. I don't know. This old girl, Harrison Ford, flipped her. I think it's funny that Ford was driving a Chevy. I could have had Milner. I could have taken him in this bad boy right here.
Though I can't say for sure, but maybe the reason George Lucas chose the 55 Chevy as the car that almost beat John Milner, and would have if he hadn't have crashed, was the fact that the times were changing. And if you didn't change with them, they might pass you up. And in fact, it was Harrison Ford that would star in Lucas's next movie that would change the film industry forever. Just like the 55 Chevys changed the automobile industry forever. Thanks for watching this episode of Matt's Rad Show.
Here's one that kind of looks like the car that Toad would have been driving. Toad was driving a 58 Impala This is a 58 Bel Air, but really similar body types. Pretty close, pretty cool. Had the same type of a fin that went down the side and kind of stopped and went up and back, just like that. So Toad would have been cruising around in one of them bad boys. Pretty close to, anyway. There's another 58 Chevy over here. Kind of looks like Steve's car from American Graffiti, the one he let Toad have. Slightly different though. Again, not an Impala, but pretty close.